Welcome, everybody, to another wonderful night of Valorant here at CF1. I am Shadow24, and joining me for tonight... Oh, nope, he's over here. Plausible. Going to be bringing you that analytical action. But we've got a bit of a... I don't want to call it a show match, but we're over here... we are over here in the Western region, where things have kind of cemented as far as who's going to be advancing onto... the next split. So WGA and CalPoly gonna be fighting primarily just to pad the records going into the next split.
Yeah, and let's go ahead and bring up the standings in the West region so that we can break it down. If for some reason you're just joining us, welcome. You're tuning in to week number 9, the final week of our first split here. So after today, we say goodbye to all but 6 teams in each region. So for West, that means we're going to be saying goodbye to Rocky Esports, USD, and U of Oregon. Now, technically, U of Oregon and Boulder could tie at the end of this week, but Boulder would hold the head-to-head. So regardless, our 6 teams in this region are cemented pretty much as you see them on screen here. But that doesn't mean that there's nothing to play for, because especially for these 2 teams, which is why it's great that we get this matchup the last week. You know, we haven't seen a ton of them on stream. WGA have done a good job, don't get me wrong. But, you know, we need to physically see that manifest. And for CalPoly, it's less about proving, you know, hey, you got out of first split. Congratulations. But moving on to the second split, can you prove that you can take wins off of people that are above you on the standings rather than below you currently? Because most of those teams are going.
Yeah, and if you actually look back at Cal Poly's record, you know, they beat USD, Rocky, Oregon, and Boulder, and then they have that win from the bye week. So exactly like he said, they've been able to tackle that bottom half of the bracket. But kind of in contention to that track record, the one team that WGA has lost to is SJSU Blue, one of the clear leaders of the region. The only loss on their record was due to a forfeit. So really killing it here in the West. But Cal was able to take that to a 3-1. And to a 2-1. And the two maps that they did lose were relatively close at 8 and 13s. And I believe they were able to win it 13-9 on their first map. So WGA not as successful, lost both maps pretty convincingly to SU Blue. So Cal Poly definitely has what they need to contend. It's just a matter of if they're able to put it together here.
And putting it together consistently enough to where when we move into our second split, when there's only 6 teams, you can be one of the top 4, because only 4 actually make playoffs, and then from there it gets even harder to make like the interregional playoffs, right? So you got to be more than just beating up on some of these lower teams. You have to be taking a decent amount of wins off these top teams. And while today, you know, may not be the most pivotal match in terms of standings, it's going to set the tone a lot for both these teams going into the second split. Because if WGA Valorant lose this match, then who knows? Maybe we're not talking about them as second in the region necessarily anymore. Mm-hmm. And if CalPoly lose this match, they don't really show us what we need to make those top 4 and be for us to feel confident that they can cement themselves in the regional playoffs later.
Yeah, you lose here today, and it definitely becomes an uphill battle in regards to like where you are in Scotty's power rankings. But
we're not even gonna bother with those, man. Those are all a mess. All those power rankings that we show on stream are a mess every single week.
But yeah, you know, it definitely does, you know, on the front face of your team going into those battles, you know, a part of Valorant and part of a competitive game like this is the intimidation factor in the mental game. So, you know, when teams walk onto the field with SJSU, you know, if you're Oregon or USD, there's a little bit of shaking in the boots. You know, you're going up against a team that's a heavy hitter. So for Cal Poly, I think that this will really give you a little bit of a bump. And as far as like coming to the table as an equal to some of these teams.
And I mean, thus far, we're going into Bind as our map number 1. Keep in mind, folks, this is going to be WGA's pick. These are extremely standard compositions, right? I mean, for a map like Bind, the only differences are Cypher Killjoy, which common differences at this point in Valorant. And then Reyna versus the Phoenix. I think the Phoenix is a little bit stronger here on Bind. I think those curveballs work wonders in 3/4 of the map, right? In terms of those neutral areas. We talk about Belong, we talk about Hookah, and then we talk about Showers. I think the curveball works a lot better than Reyna's Leers. So I'm already liking what I'm seeing from WGA. Certainly not a bad composition from CalPoly, though.
Yeah, and we talked a little bit about how once you get up to this level, you know, players, their aim, it's pretty stellar. You set it pretty well, and players are hitting headshots by the 3rd bullet. So, you know, that Reyna Phoenix matchup, you can destroy the Reyna Flash pretty quickly as long as you have as long as you have at least one extra person on that angle. Phoenix curveball, you can't do anything about it. If that comes around the corner, you're screwed. You got to look away. That's the only defense you've got.
We do have some great names on CalPoly, just real quick, but we gotta start this off right now. Already to be long. Actually, grabbing 2 curveballs in the classic there too, so not like the selfish Phoenix loadout here where you get one and a ghost. I promise I can speak English eventually. Gotta be careful though, checking these corners. 2v3 here in Belong. Not starting off well for WGA. They're gonna lose all their members and hardly even dent CalPoly.
And now they're looking to push heavily on the A if they can. You see the bomb kind of wavering in the back of the site, but CalPoly did a really good job of covering B long and making sure they had multiple people on those angles.
Ooh.
When that Phoenix came around.
This is interesting, though. Look at the map right now. You have 2 players contesting on this A site. It's pulled a couple over, but actually the hits coming B. CalPoly haven't fallen for it, though. They still got Killjoy and Sova here.
Not only that, but they have positioning and utility set up. Disco able to find 2, 3 quick kills. Beautiful. They're at the very end of the round and very well set up by CalPoly to kind of anchor that B site. And good job not falling for that bait.
Not the worst round. I mean, you know, pistol round. It happens like that very frequently. WGA is certainly not getting what they would necessarily want out of that, but I'm interested to see how they adjust via the information that they get. They know relatively who's going to be playing the B site now, right? Killjoy on the defense is someone you always have. Are they going to be just sticking onto one site? Do they bounce around? How does their setups change, right? So I'm very interested to see how CalPoly use that bit of early information to adjust over the course of their attacking half.
And you listen to me say it all the time about adaptability in teams when it comes down to playing Valorant, and one of the keys to that is to be able to effectively read the defaults that your opponent's throwing out. But a good pick starting things off for CalPoly. Yeah. It's that's 2 kills early off. I mean,
and
for WGA,
speaking to that
hard
default,
to decide.
Speaking to that default, right, Steidl? I mean, you know, you've already had the Phoenix and the Sova posture up towards B-Long a lot. That's a pretty consistent strategy. I'm interested to see if that is WGA's favorite strat, or if they're maybe going for a little bit of a bait in these early rounds, setting that up again so that they can kind of condition CalPoly toward these later rounds, then move those Sovas and that Sova and that Phoenix around the map more. But I mean, this was always the anti-eco. It's not terribly surprising that CalPoly are walking away with it thus far, right?
Oh, if they're slow enough, they might just miss the rotation.
30 seconds left.
Oof.
Sneaky Shani. It's a new nickname right there. Oh no, they're trying to trap them. I think they got heard. They got found out. Those footsteps were a little bit too loud.
Ooh.
Aloha did hear it, but doesn't have a complete sight. Yeah.
I think Aloha was actually a little bit too deep in A short there. I mean, the spike gets down, which is like silver lining here for WGA. Hard to imagine Shawnee T gets much here, though, Steidl.
Well, let's see. Able to find the first, but not the second. So a little bit of extra money coming into their buy phase, but WGA haven't really been able to get the attack working just yet. And CalPoly lower in the standings, but currently higher in the leaderboard. Scoreboard, I should say.
It is. Yeah, it is.
It's early.
You know, the anti-eco.
It's early.
We expect CalPoly to swing that back unless WGA go for some kind of crazy force, and forcing has more or less fallen out of fashion since the Stinger nerfs hit. And now that the Bucky nerfs have hit, it's probably going to fall out of fashion even more. Reminder, folks, we are on the live patch. That means Bucky, Yoru, Viper, they all are seeing those changes. Unfortunately, no Yorus or Vipers. Either these teams are saving strats because this doesn't necessarily impact the leaderboard, or they just don't want to pick it up yet because it's the first day of the new patch. I mean, either way, doesn't really matter. Now we move into the full gun round here for WGA. They are back toward B-Long, this time with the Raze. I like this. Johnny T can more comfortably take control with the Boombot and the paint chill of this.
And they got a lot of information, both off of the fact that they lost somebody over here on A, and by the fact that recon dart didn't hit anything, so that default of that Sova and that Reyna no longer there, like you said. CalPoly's switching things up, and there goes a couple of shock darts into the back. Good shot, but just a little bit too high. Not gonna be able to squeak out into the back of spawn. As CalPoly prepare for the push, WGA finally have all their members here on B. Aloha finds one, looking at a hookah. Smoke's gonna stop them from finding anything, but the long-range shot won't land as Benny comes in with the Vandal. WGA now into a 3-4 matchup. But a good recon dart. And that's going to give Disco the free kill on the Benny. Spike down 2 left, and WGA slowly losing hope, but it gets built back by Vaj. Oh, plausible.
It's going to be so close here. Party Kid picks the wrong angle, but sees the Phoenix just barely. And Chris doesn't have any sort of health to work with. I mean, that turret could have killed him. That does definitely reveal him. Great work there from Here Comes Disco. And this B side is looking very solid thus far. from CalPoly. I love how when they didn't take the same kind of control of B long, that they played more passively to lock down elbow. They didn't leave anyone on the site to just die to the overwhelming force WGA were throwing forward. And they played to just mess with WGA as they were going for that execute. You know, little bits of utility, like the nano swarms, like the turret we saw later have a reprisal. And then also that recon dart, which exposed the planter. That's a great little defense there from CalPoly.
There's that default from Aloha to keep information at a minimum, but the recon dart and the hard execute have gone out. Not gonna be able to make it there into Hookah. One at a point, but a quick trade comes through. CalPoly now down 3-4. Shawnee able to pick up that weapon, gets the boom, takes Riot out of the fight, completely secures the plant, knows there's one in showers. Is posted up, just ready for the kill, isn't able to find it, catch up Spicy, the shots taste good too. Able to find a quick one. That Killjoy ultimate is going to stop any member from WGA for really committing into this fight.
This is so difficult for WGA now. They're forced all the way out short. And Ketchup is just going to check them as they come back. Goodbye! That's the 8. This Ketchup's spicy and so's the plays.
Man, beautiful job there. Up against the odds. I mean, they knew that Spicy was in those showers. But sadly, low health Shawnee had to contest with that, and pistols on for the rest of the team. So difficult go of it, but you know what? WGA still has a chance to bring it back.
And the defense is really smart thus far from CalPoly. They're gonna have plenty of money to buy. This is another important round for WGA, but they need to figure out how to really read what it is CalPoly are setting up for, right? I mean, that lockdown, first bash to come around, Ketchup had a perfect read on that coming out showers, and now, I mean, Ketchup started over in B long, and since then has just completely dominating showers control. But, I mean, good start from WGA. You know, they more or less ignore that side of the map. Now, what? What? Oh, my word! Okay.
Aptly named. Aptly named. That was a party in telly right there.
I wouldn't want my kid to have explosives at a party that are that strong. I'll tell you that. Oh, this is spicy. Woo!
Oh no, there's two there, Spicy. Been able to find that second kill. And now WJ in a very good position. They've given a lot of presence over to B, so the threat definitely real for CalPoly. Has to keep the defense over there. As the plant will go back down here onto U-Haul. All about the post plant now for WGA.
They have plenty to work with here, WGA. This is the round they need to take away. Great spots thus far, set up in bench and lamps. Not much to worry about either. They should be able to have this crossfire down unless CalPoly has something to work with utility-wise.
The members of CalPoly now moving on to site. Oof. 2 kills quickly. It's going to be up to Baj solo. Able to find one, needs to grab the other two, but he's getting forced out by the paint shells. And they're going to take him down enough to help Ryad finish the kill. And CalPoly will get the defense, and now it's beginning to get a little bit cold in here as the snowball's kind of rolling down the mountain.
And WGA, they are stuck inside of that snowball right now. They are not really in control whatsoever. They have enough money, thanks to the loss bonuses, to where they're going to have one more gun round, but we need to see some teeth, right? Like, WGA have been doing okay in the early to mid rounds, trading and, you know, playing for that map control. But once we get into the actual post plants, it seems like CalPoly just do anything they want to, right? They just run up and take the pure 1v1s anytime they want. That's not a 1v1 this Ketchup Spicy's gonna win, though.
There's a couple members of the team there to back him up, but it's a bit of a slaughterhouse there.
4 members of CalPoly just went through the TP and died. Or at least died. They either came out of hookah and died or went through the TP.
Yeah, 2 out of hookah, 2 out of the TP.
It's not the same sort of defensive control we've been seeing. Ryad's only going to be able to get 1 here. So I think CalPoly maybe get a little bit too big for their britches there. You know, the Party Kid had such a good play in the previous round off that TP showstopper, right? Everything coming through the teleporter utility-wise. I think CalPoly maybe overplayed their hand with that mid-map rotation. Now I'm more so expecting them to pull it back a little bit. And, you know, with WGA taking an important round, they hang on economically, but they're not out of the woods yet. We need to see some semblance of consistency from this attacker side.
If there's any place that you really want to shove that through, it's going to be B. If you can effectively get yourself onto site, get the plant down, it's going to feel good. That's a good start. Gonna give a little bit of information for Hunter's Fury, so that's gonna go B long, looking for a couple of picks, but not gonna get any hits at all. WGA now playing a little bit slower. Gonna be going for the fake again.
Shadows traveling.
This is a good read from WGA too. I mean, gonna walk onto the site free here. Party Kid is on A, but seriously doubt that they're going to be able to find much except with maybe, you know, a paint shell or something of the like. I mean, it is Raze, obviously. But yeah, the spike's going to get planted without too much of an issue. 5v3 for this retake. Not much to work with ultimate-wise either. Beautiful shots, though. That's just nasty. Oh!
Well, you were saying something about Party Kid there, Pulsable?
No way.
Wasn't quite sure what that was, but CalPoly doing exactly what you said and just kind of walking all over the point here. They've been able to dwindle down these members of WGA just one by one, and that all started and ended because of Party Kid.
CalPoly are just at this point they're just goated WGA, right? They are wildly like swinging out the second they get information that is like that swing on the box. I mean, just bunny hopping from pocket. That is not a safe spot. Admittedly, maybe thought that the smoke had worn off. And then that's ambitious there from Shawnee T, too. Keep in mind, this isn't necessarily the full power. They are going to go down back to a thrifty net. But CalPoly are off to a dominant start.
Yeah, dominant is definitely the phrase that I would use to describe this play right now. And the fact that they're switching up their defaults, pretty much exactly like you said, that Reign of the Sova. They're either on A or B, but it's not really a given on where on the map they're going to be showing up. Pincan's in the hookah for WGA, but it's just going to do a little bit of zoning. Recard dart. Only going to get the information that there's one person there to destroy it, but WGA still going to be able to start off strong. But beginnings haven't been their downfall. It's been the post plant all game that's been a bit of an issue.
One enemy remaining.
But I don't think the plant's going to be happening here, and you know, rifles into pistols.
Yeah.
It's an expected outcome.
An expected outcome, and we do have to keep in mind that Bind does lean to being defender-sided. Certainly less, generally speaking, right? I mean, this ketchup spicy has just had an insane game already with another Empress there. I think no, that's got to be the second of the half, not the third. Okay. WGA, another gun round here. I mean, they've had some good starts to rounds. I'm just concerned about these post plants at the when they actually get onto site. It's not even necessarily a fight gets planted, but when they get onto site, they feel caught up in the moment. They feel caught out in the open.
Yeah.
And they're not really able to dissuade CalPoly from just peeking.
CalPoly doing a really good job of playing reactively and, you know, effectively retreating. Not just, you know, let's hold this angle and hope I can get the kill, but let me go back to my friends so that if I don't get that kill, there is somebody there to clean that up after me. Oh. Doesn't walk past the curveball quick enough, but there's a big showstopper coming in. Party Kid able to find one. Another goes down for CalPoly, and it's a 3v3 as the teleporter is the escape route for WGA. Bomb rotating back from B to A, but the members of CalPoly quickly taking this read. And Disco's going to be there to contest their walk on a site.
One enemy remaining.
Totally okay with
Disco
being seen.
holding their ground. That is a beautiful play there. You expect the Sova to swing off that first recon pulse, right? Off the dart, so you don't shoot it. You just time the shots perfectly. Benny's left alone now. They know where Benny is too. Does have the From the Shadows. Could teleport out.
30 seconds
I don't know if he has the
left.
information. I don't know if he wants to try and clutch this. Now in a 1v1. Gotta check your left. Riot will shut him down.
Really hoping for a fake telly there. It's not often you see him really work, but I want to see it. I want to see it. I do.
Well, and in the 1v1, the risk that Benny would have ran going for that teleport is there is a window where after you hit the teleport, you can't just be spammed through that box he was hiding behind, right? If Ryad wasn't immediately there, if Ryad gets there 3 seconds later, right? Benny teleports to the other site and just plants a spike, right? No question about that. but the timing doesn't really work out in his favor. Now 8-1. WGA are once again out of money.
And for CalPoly, this is a real big ego boost. You know, you're going up against the 7-1 record. They're second, tied for first, technically, in the group, and they haven't really been able to be effective in any way, shape, or form. WGA has been struggling here in this attack. And if they can't get something going, they need to take a couple rounds off of CalPoly, but that's not the way to do it. Trying to force it in through B, but the shots are there for CalPoly.
And the Flash, not so much. Bash a little bit too excited. Flashes himself and only himself as the curveball didn't get around the corner. It's okay, buddy. Walk it off. We still have plenty of map left to play, but I mean, we are looking at 9-3 right now. This is WGA's map pick as well, right? So
Yeah.
you do have to wonder how things are going to go. They are going to switch over to their defending side soon, which I do think is where several important parts of their composition become more potent. The Raze and the Phoenix especially. You know, a lot of people think of Phoenix as like this holding W kind of taking all the 1v1s kind of character, but I think on Bind specifically, just because of the nature of the angles you can set up with the curveball, defensive Phoenix is actually stronger than attacking Phoenix. So WGA, it's not looking great. They definitely need these next 2 rounds, to say the least.
Yeah.
But
Definitely.
it's still technically winnable.
And look at the stack on B from CalPoly. They put 3 members there onto B long, and they're able to push straight on through free map control. Able to find that one pick. Shawnee, gonna even the scales a little bit, looking for the second. Able to find it with beautiful cursor placement. Bodge doesn't win the 1v1 over in showers. The swing goes through, but it looked like, I want to say that they got out of the way. Yeah, Aloha was able to get into cover, but got hit by the shock dart from Chris.
WGA are suffering from too many options right now, though. Okay, they're gonna reconvene on this B site. Ryad is here, but not gonna go for much more than just looking for another cheeky angle, a cheeky pick. The spike's gonna get planted without too much problem here. Lockdown is available. That makes things difficult for WGA. The Hunter's Fury is too, though, so it kind of shuts it down in this round.
The only person this is really going to be affecting
Nice.
is going to be Benny. Benny still able to find the kill before that ultimate can get triggered. Not such a riot on the 1v2. Gets dinged only with 21 health left. Swing comes through, and WGA is able to pick up a round.
There we go. I was a little bit worried about WGA in the start of that round because despite getting some nice Shawnee T, especially punishing that B long push, you had everybody split all over the map. It didn't look like WGA were completely sold on where they wanted to actually commit to, and there was a risk that Chris could get a little too ambitious and move on to A, but they lock it down. Good bounce back here. Enough economy to buy up now for the last round of the half. Only run it back going into it, though, for WGA at least. Oh, boy.
Oh, man. A lot of spam out the gate right there with the Hunter's Fury. That's going to put Shawnee into a tricky situation, but still able to squeak a trade out of it. But Spicy almost gets out of that alive. Able to snag 2 of them.
Okay. 3v3 for this retake. Plenty of utility on the surviving member of CalPoly, though. And they know where at least 2 of these players are. They got one coming around on a flank as well. Party Kid. Here he comes.
Oh, Party Kid still finding the shots. There's another one for Riot. Now WGA put into dire straits. They know exactly where that final member is. First shot lands. And use the neural net, but peeking before it triggers. And gonna get caught out by Party Kid pushing into showers.
Good round from CalPoly. Once again, Party Kid is a monster. Party Kid and this Catch Up Spicy were just completely dominating that half. I mean, I don't like pointing out the scoreboard, but just look at the scoreboard, right? Like, they're doing a fantastic job. And now things get a little bit rough for WGA. You know, obviously, you know, if you want to go on Twitter after this and make the argument, WGA, the match did better. They were actually, you know, try. Go ahead. You can make that argument, but I think considering that this is their map pick, one of the top teams in the group. You would have, on paper at least, hoped for a better start from them on this map. They got to win the pistol now, or else they pretty much lose map 1's title.
Question is, can the defense right here for WGA be the real game changer? You talked about how, you know, a couple of their picks will become a little bit stronger here on defense, but the gameplay gonna have to do that as well. Party Kid being aggressive through the paranoia and the smoke will find the opening kill to even the scales. CalPoly onto the site now. They have got pretty good control over the angles. Couple of members of WGA now stuck in spawn and back in elbow. Good trade there from Shawnee.
Cover going out.
Oh, Party Kid still finding shots. 2-2 now. WGA and CalPoly 1-1. Good trade comes through. Disco just needs to find the shot. And 33 health and a dream. And it's dancing time. Let's go, CalPoly.
Now, well, not the last stupid thing, but the next thing I want to see on the nerf list is the classic right click. You didn't nerf it enough the first time. It's still really dumb. You just swing that corner with the right clicks. You pray they're in your shots. I mean, it's not, you know, obviously Disco makes some nice shots. Yeah, sure. But come on. The basic one should also have a shotgun feature. Get rid of the classic right. Now, of course, for WGA makes perfect sense to me. Huge gamble, but it's either that or win 10 rounds in a row later. Which, good luck.
Uphill battle, you could call it. Everest of climbs situation. But you know what, WGA? Not letting it dampen their spirits, but Ketchup Spicy gonna take one of those spirits and stick it back in the box. Being able to find the trade though, so it's gonna go back to an even matchup. We've got turrets, alarm bots, and Spike all on site. Everybody just kind of corralled here into this corner, but two are more powerful than one. WGA still gonna get taken down. Is that 2 for Ryad there with the Sheriff?
Yeah. Sheriff, good gun. Legitimately good gun, not like the classic, which is ironically
Sheriff,
good
go
gun.
boom.
What you say is meme, yeah. I mean, good. Good luck, WGA. 10 in a row. It's very difficult right now for them. Not only do they have a showstopper to contend with, but obviously they're down economically, as opposed to astronomically. But they're kind of down both in this match at the very least. One more chance to try and stabilize here. At least gets off to a pretty decent start.
Gonna get out of there with that recon bolt, and WGA gonna be up on bodies here on the defense so far. CalPoly not shying away. Losing a member there on A is not gonna deter them at all. I'm pushing into this. The dart is gonna miss, but Demon already got the information, but doesn't know that they've rotated until they shot. So Spicy gonna give away their position and still win the fight. Finds the second. It's the Devour. That's pretty good positioning for the retake.
Man, what kind of ketchup is CalPoly using right now? Because like I don't think I've ever seen actual
spicy ketchup.
This is like arguably just straight past ketchup and on to like some nastier hot sauces. I'm sure you're familiar with those Stein Lancer matches like yesterday.
Last player standing.
And there it is.
Attackers win.
So CalPoly are going to be able to take our first map now. WGA not out of it. You know, we still have more maps to play, and you know, every now and then maps, you know, teams just don't warm up right away. Sometimes it takes a little bit to get those gears kind of cranking, and sometimes you need a little bit of a switch of scenery to get that done. However, CalPoly throughout this entire matchup looked extremely strong. Their defense, which if I'm not mistaken, they are going to be attacking on a stint actually. To start things off for our second map. So we'll get to see a little bit more of what they look like on attack. But their defense extremely solid. And their attack was kind of controlling in every aspect of it.
Yeah, I mean, their attack we didn't really get to see because it was pistol round, anti-eco where the defending team forced, which isn't that good anymore, and then round where you had guns and the defenders didn't. So I'm gonna hold judgment on CalPoly's attack until we get a little bit bigger of a sample size. The defense looked great, though. You know, I love their retakes. Gotta give it up to this Ketchup Spicy and Party Kid. They were just playing. They were playing like that like Baby Bay, that Smeeg style, right? Where you just hold W, you face check them, you take those 1v1s, and you just win it, right? So loved that, and loved the way the rest of the team was a very solid like backbone to those 1v1 checks, right? You know, coming in on a lot of the retakes with valuable utility thing that really enabled those 1v1s to be taken advantageously. Hope we get to see more of that from CalPoly.
I agree. And going into a map such as Ascent, in my opinion, one of the maps now in the pool where you're gonna see it pretty much every matchup. Teams really like to play it. Mid control becomes a new factor in what teams are going to be bringing into the equation. On a map like Bind, you don't really have to worry too much about that. You've got Hookah, B-Long, Showers, and A main. Those are your 4 points of contention. But you go into a map like Ascent, and suddenly that mid control becomes a factor. So, do you think that's going to throw a kink in the works for CalPoly, or do you think the way they've been playing so far is going to lead well to it?
I think it's hard to say. We didn't get much of a. Again, the sample size isn't really that big thus far. And the last time we saw CalPoly on stream, you know, they had just as dominant of a match over, I believe it was USD. It was like 13-2 and 13-4. So I really want to see CalPoly pushed. I hope WGA, you know, maybe it's hard for me to say that Bind doesn't work into their style because they obviously, you know, they chose it as a map. But maybe they'll throw somebody like Shawnee T onto a Jet. Maybe they'll get an Op in a mix, and that mid control can be something they pivot off. Only one way to really find out, though, guys. We're going to go to a quick break, but when we come back, it's going to be map 2 between CalPoly and WGA.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to CF1, where we're here at round 9, WGA versus CalPoly Pomona. And, you know, plausible on paper, WGA obviously are looking like they're going to come out on top. I think I threw away that paper because CalPoly doing a really good job of, I guess, bringing a bit of a surprise factor. Really strong defense. And like you said before the break, we haven't gotten much of a taste of the attack yet, but we are going to get that as we move on into Ascent. So, predictions. Do you think WGA kind of switches up gears here? We talked a little bit about the possibility of them kind of playing maybe not their favorite maps going into Split 2.
I mean, there are always going to be arguments that can be made if you want to make them, that, you know, this match doesn't have any direct implications for either of these teams in terms of standings or seeding or anything like that, right? So in terms of where these two teams end up going into Split 2, it's going to be the same regardless if WG come out and stomp the next two maps or if they don't put a map on the board for Ascent, right? So there's an argument to be made. Maybe WGA are reserving some things while they're here on stream for that second split. I legitimately think, though, that CalPoly have been having a stellar match either way, right? Yeah. The way that Party Kid and this Ketchup Spicy, which are two great names, by the way, have just been completely unabashedly afraid, right? Like holding the W key, ridiculous teleports with the showstoppers straight onto the enemy rays. Like, you love to see that kind of play, and they've had some excellent defensive setups. Now we get a little bit more of a look at their attacking side as we move over to Ascent, and as one would probably expect, both the people who raised, that being Shawnee T and Party Kid, now looking at the Jet instead.
And I'm really excited to see what Party Kid can bring to the table on the Jet. I mean, just how aggressive they were playing that raise. You've already got the bone you need to kind of take the fight to the enemy, and now you get the opportunity to get more than just a single shot on your ultimate. Not to mention, you know, the smokes, the quick entries that Jet allows, definitely favorable for a player like Party Kid that likes to get their hands dirty.
Select your agent.
Yeah, absolutely, right? I mean, presumably this Ketchup Spicy is just going to be running back the Reyna. This is probably Reyna's best map, honestly, as an agent. So it's hard to imagine that this Ketchup Spicy doesn't have as good of a time here on Ascent as he did on Bind. And, I mean, if Party Kid and this Ketchup Spicy are working together as they very well could, this is a very potent duelist duo coming out for CalPoly, especially on this attacking side.
And for WGA on your defense, you're in the same boat as everybody here watching the stream. You didn't get a good taste of what CalPoly is going to be bringing to the table. So when you bring that mid control into the mix, if you are WGA, how do you feel about this? Do you take strong angles, or do you push it a little bit more for the retake?
I mean, either one is honestly a viable strategy. I think based off what we saw from WGA, at least on their attacking side, which admittedly is a very different thing than defending side of Ascent, I wouldn't be surprised if Shawnee T, Badge, Chris, and Benny especially were playing for control of a lot of these neutral zones, right? You can already see Badge T setting up toward B main, looking like they're going to very heavily contest this early on. No one's there to meet them. Depending on how much noise they make, this could get risky.
Being rather quiet about it, but as the drone comes, everybody's going to leave that mid. And look how quick this rotation is! Oh. Passing ships in the night. CalPoly are just going to slowly rotate past WGA, but they pay the price on entry. 2 down for CalPoly, now into a 3v3 for WGA. Shawnee able to pick out that one. Thanks for the second, able to find it. And Shawnee T! Can he find 3? There it is, ladies and gents. WGA coming out strong on the defense in their pistol round. Question is this momentum or just the first round of the game?
Well, and that's one of the great things about taking control of B main like that early on, right? Rare in B main, and Shawnee T could just hide, wait to disrupt. CalPoly as they ran from market onto the site. It set up a really nice 180 crossfire with the people coming out of that defender spawn as well. WGA, they're going to see a little bit more of a contest this time. This catch-up spicy. No leers, mind you. So has to get a kill before is really useful as Reyna.
Recon dart's gonna give a little bit of information. The owl drone's gonna protect the swing that's not gonna land. Party Kid there with the sheriff to punish Shawnee T. So that's gonna put CalPoly up one member, but we've seen here on this map that doesn't necessarily mean too much. Information's still the proper game of a sense. So
I do
WGA
like
is gonna hold their
that,
corners.
I do like that it was Shawnee T who moved up with the frenzy. You don't give any over to CalPoly by dying other than a little bit of map control. Nasty chunk has been taken out of Party Kid 2, so that basically removes the jet as an try it anyways, but you don't got much health to work with.
And WGA with a pretty good read there, patiently awaiting that jet to come through. Able to find those trees, puts it down to a 3v2, but Ryad evens those scales up with the sheriff. Disco going to be coming out of B. The bomb still planted. Now I believe it's just Classic versus Spectre, a difficult situation to be in. For here comes Disco.
Spike is just stuck out here too, right? It's stuck out in the middle of this open area. Disco not even picking it up, just sneaking around. I mean, gonna get more than they bargained for. Whether they go up into market or onto site, they don't have time to go to A. This doesn't look particularly winnable.
Able to pick up the Spectre, now able to get a bit of a contest in here. Still a 1v2. Isn't able to find the final shots, however, so WGA gonna go up 2-0.
The good news for CalPoly is that they were able to kill 3 players. I think because of how things worked out, though. Ooh, all right. So we're not going for an actual bonus for WGA, not the traditional one, right? They're gonna invest pretty heavily into this round. Shawnee T's got that op straight to mid. He goes. This is what you were talking about earlier. Gotta hit that first shot, though. That first shot is what's going to matter, right? Under the operator, because after that, you're potentially pushed, your players potentially rotate, things get a lot more difficult there. Smoked off 2 in the immediate sense, so just not gonna rotate over, actually. Still holding that mid position. Now's the rotate.
Wanted to be careful just in case somebody walked through that smoke or tried to get aggressive in mid, but a good read goes to A. You have the feint, 2 members of CalPoly over here on B, but the bomb still pretty heavily on A. Gets the read that the kill is down, and that the members are light. Oh no!
Out.
Shawnee T watching the wrong angles. Ketchup Spicy. Able to take the operator out of contention, and now CalPoly feel pretty confident on the site. The bomb in a pretty slow rotation, so WGA also taking their time to get here.
Good work from this catch-up Spicy. Already 3 in the round. Could look to play for the ace. I mean, with an op in hand as well as 1 gun, WGA did invest into this round, keep in mind. So I wouldn't be too surprised if they just save here. Yeah, they're already heading to the other side of the map. It was a very interesting setup from CalPoly, too. They just had their duelists look for completely dry pressure over toward B, right? I mean, they threw out 1 smoke just for the sake of it. Rough stuff there for Chris. This very well could be an ace and an op still lost, by the way.
Yeah,
but they just CalPoly just had their duelists see how much they could get for free on B, right? But because it's the 2 duelists, even if they hadn't gotten much, the rotates probably would have been pulled out of WGA anyways. So then it becomes a position where best case is what happens. You're able to find tons of value. You get onto that site without too much of an issue. Ouch! That sucks for betting, not gonna lie. And worst case for CalPoly in that round, you know, your duelists die and then you go on to A and you plant the spike.
Yeah, it's a pretty good situation in setup. Not a good situation in setup, losing that operator and all of your investments.
Yep, you're broke now. Because WGA invested into that op on round 3, didn't go for the bonus. They ain't got squat! They're gonna buy some sheriffs and hope they can take some guns away. Obviously, this is Valorant, so thrifties are still something you have to consider. But I don't give WGA good odds in this round title.
Odds are definitely not in their favor. especially with Ketchup Spicy pushing up for free all the way up catwalk. Yeah, the owl drone in mid, so I expect to see that rotation come through pretty quickly from Bosch. Yeah, finds Ryad. Ketchup Spicy only able to find the 1 kill, so not too much to yell about there. Chris on point, able to find 1, almost a second. The damage was there. 82.
Keep in mind,
For Party Kid.
guns have been lost out toward mid. So this is going to be a full 2v2. Both of the members of WGA are going to be able to weapons, and the run it back is available for Baj. This door, you can break it open, run it back onto site. T-Man's just got to be careful that they don't get flanked here. Ooh, careful on this swing too.
Enemy remaining.
Good job. Covered by Aloha. CalPoly is able to keep 2 on the board. The flash gets both. The shots land. Baj! Big plays from WGA. And you know what? You didn't give him good odds, and Baj wasn't too happy about that.
Yeah, I mean, that's the power of good map awareness, right? Baj is actually absolutely massive in that round. Not only at the beginning, or at the end, rather, where he gets 2 insane kills off a beautifully timed curveball. I mean, that's just beautiful trigger discipline there to not just spray and pray, but to control the shots. But also in the very early part of the round, when that owl drone goes out mid, Ryad was in a super vulnerable position. Baz just pushed out B main, found an easy headshot across the map with the sheriff. And that's the only reason that round can even happen. That's the only reason Baj gets a gun, pretty much.
Mm-hmm. And then, you know, it kind of, you know, dampens that heat of Spicy Ketchup. Not able to really get a comfortable engagement. Doesn't have that Sova backing them up anymore, and gets taken out. But an early push from Baj finds the spike.
Down A.
Oh, and this is big for WGA because the run it back means you're not really a threat. You get to get a lot of information. You still have members protecting trees, so the rotation can't come through comfortably. Op from Shawnee T onto Party Kid and CalPoly. No longer looking like the powerhouse that we saw on our last map on Bind.
Last player standing.
WGA definitely feeling it more here on map number 2. Baj said, you know what? I clutched that round. Let's go. We're keeping the momentum. Just running forward with that run it back. Finds the most valuable possible pick ever, and that is the spike carrier, right? I mean, here comes Disco's just gonna try and save now. It's a 1v5. WGA's economy is pretty much going to be fine no matter what Here Comes Disco can do, so might as well take your own gun out of this, especially considering that CalPoly, their economy's starting to hurt now, right? I mean, it's just a Spectre in hands, too, for Here Comes Disco, so actually might look for some of these, like, you know, late round kills into a lost round. But either way, CalPoly ain't going to be feeling too great about their money after this one. They're quickly losing momentum here. We go up to 4-1 now, and WGA already doubling the amount of rounds they got on Vine, right? So shout out.
And they'll get the flawless round. And for CalPoly, I feel like the momentum shift here is a bit of a shell shock situation. So you lose 2 more rounds, I wouldn't be surprised, and I would actually advise a technical pause. You know, take the break, ice the kicker a little bit, talk about what's happening, and break down why it is that you're no longer being as successful as you were there on Bind.
CalPoly on eco now. Seems like they're going to switch it up. You know, they've been playing some slower styles, looking for some picks. The map control really hasn't been working in their favor, though. So on this eco round, they are just pretty much going to just send it A. Are they going to send it A? Yeah, they're going to send it A here. The Sova's just setting up for a preset dart, presumably. And get that spike down, because on an eco round, spike job's at least done.
Spike behind the box, spike over towards Hell. Ooh, saw the gun. Chris, see, I don't think Chris saw the gun. React to it at least. So Spike's gonna go down for CalPoly. Oh, a little scared there. Hunter's Fury. Gonna make it difficult. But good maneuverability, gonna keep everybody alive. Benny now taking control of trees and making sure that there isn't a rotation coming from Catwalk. From CalPoly. Up into heaven, definitely a bit of a threat, you could say, from Shawnee T, who's already proven to be effectual on it, able to find the kill on to catch Spicy, and a big hitter for CalPoly goes down as the trades come through. 4v3 in favor of WGA here in the engagement as Benny finds a sight line but loses their life. And Shawnee T there with the knives, doesn't land him, has to use the classic post-range off, not going to land, but the trades are through, and WGA still in this fight, but it's Party Kid there to contest him on the jet. Looking for the first shot,
No
finds
way.
it, second doesn't land though, so Chris gonna be able to get the defuse, and CalPoly still struggling to get this attack to land.
WA just barely holding on to the boat there as they go through the rapids. That round was chaos because the lockdown from Here Comes Disco just throws a wrench into everything. Admittedly, it could have been shut down by Chris, right? Used the Hunter's Fury, denied the spike plant, but it didn't kill anyone. It didn't get much information, and then things got wild because the lockdown goes out about like third way probably into the spike timer. So you're just playing with fire and things go insane. WGA, thankfully, they came into that with an advantage in the first place in terms of weaponry, so they're able to muscle their way through. CalPoly back to guns now. Already some nice control of B main as well here.
Shiny did get kind of caught out there, but that's information that was already in CalPoly's favor. But Spicy able to find Shiny while switching weapons. Trades are going to come through, and now the site's pretty much open for CalPoly. They still have to contend with Badge, who's proven themselves to be a force. Benny.
One enemy remaining.
Gonna teleport there over to the site to help out their Phoenix, and a really quick rotation is gonna pay off.
Love that from WGA. They don't let CalPoly get anywhere near the actual site. Once again, Here Comes Disco left completely alone. We'll probably be able to get Chris. Ooh, maybe not. No, Chris times it just perfectly, gets that look going at the exact right time. And WGA, they're putting up numbers on the board like CalPoly were on bind. I mean, you know, this may be CalPoly's pick, but it's looking like it.
Are we getting trolled? Is that what's happening here?
Yeah.
Did these teams get together and they're like, all right, you pick a map, I'll pick a map. You give us your map pick. We'll give you our map pick, and then we'll play it out on the third. Is that what's happening here?
I mean, maybe it's maybe we were given the wrong info. Maybe this is WGA's map. No, I'm pretty sure it is actually CalPoly's map pick. WGA just looked like they've really turned it on, right? They're taking much more favorable trades. It honestly looks like a bit of a different team in terms of the individual timing. Like on bind, Badge doesn't win that fight, really.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, most of the time this Ketchup Spicy just shacked everyone who dared to 1v1 him. Whereas WGA, they're doing much better individually here on Ascent. I mean, Party Kid's already down at 68. There's two people watching this.
Oh! Takes out
Okay.
the big one. So the boomstick gonna go down. But Benny will be able to get that trade. And that's a perfect example of what you were talking about. You know, they have the sight lines set up to where if they do lose somebody to an aggressive push from CalPoly, there is somebody there to clean it up. And last time they were either stacked or there just wasn't anybody there to help.
Yeah, it's a solid trade. They're not going to have the same sort of luxury this time. Ryad's smart enough to figure that Benny's still hanging around. Do they expect someone out in a main, though? Someone playing wine? At the moment, it doesn't so much seem so. Ooh.
Enemy remaining.
Oh, Riot nearly manages to make that happen, but now Disco is left alone, Steidel.
You know what? Dancing's never as fun alone, but looks like Disco gonna go ahead and put the headset on for a little bit, but batteries run out. P-Man able to find the kill. Music's gonna stop, and Defender is gonna be keeping a really, really good hold here. What happened?
I just realized earlier when I was talking about the chaotic lockdown, I missed a Panic at the Disco joke. Oh well, we're gonna keep trudging forward here. CalPoly back onto a gun round now. They have to put this one on the board. Ascent, again, like most of the maps in Valorant at this point, pretty defender-sided. Actually, in the first round of VCT was one of the more defender-sided maps in North America. But you want to be putting at least like 4 on the board. 5 ain't half bad. If CalPoly could walk away with the rest, they'd be feeling pretty good.
Yeah, we talk about what like an ideal scoreline looks like when you're facing a team of equal skill, and it's usually near the 8-4 realm. You know, that's a good round to walk away as an attacker. And at this point for CalPoly, that's the best that you can hope for on this scoreline. Really
Lots of work
depends on
for
nailing these first
WGA.
plants.
Already, they're just going to throw everything out.
Oh, they're able to find one. with the Hunter's Fury. Gets a little bit of damage onto a couple members in Heaven, and the run it back's gonna get used for WGA, who only have 2 members left to contest anything here. Chris a little bit busy in trees, able to find the kill, looking over towards A main, but not gonna find it. This goes turret, gonna be taking them down, and CalPoly slowly gaining their momentum back. That was a good round.
Yeah. Great send there, and the post plant was excellent. They managed to get solid control, and WGA, they invested quite a bit into that round. The lockdown as well as the run it back, but they weren't able to find value with either. The Hunter's Fury really putting a thorn in their side. Ryad doing an excellent job with that ultimate to shut down pretty much everything that WGA wanted to do. It's just a second round here for CalPoly. They still need to keep winning to keep their economy excellent. And you know what? If it worked once, it's gonna work again. Let's send it A. Run it back.
Oh, but WGA is so ready this time. They put in a lot of utility and kind of switched around where they're holding people here on A to make sure that trees is a little bit more of a priority. So now they're gonna have their whole team. They've got the lurks going through spawn for attackers to make sure it doesn't happen. But Shawnee's able to find the kill in the trade. Comes through. Shawnee finding a second one for WGA, putting it to a 4v3. Spike hasn't been able to make itself into a comfortable position on point until just now. And the majority of WGA are going to be there. They've got to go because of the Killjoy, but they'll soon be back into the fray. And they have their member here on A, Baj.
So early, though. WGA already coming back, and Baj on this flank. Oh, boy.
Quiet as a mouse. We're hunting rabbits. Able to find Ryad.
1 enemy remaining.
For the second, but you know what? Team's already gotten it. The shots probably would have landed. Looked like some pretty good cursor placement in WGA, able to pick up an 8th round here on their defense.
Great work there from WGA. Spec lockdown this time around on A. They don't try to force in and destroy it and get caught off on a billion different angles. They kept control of tree, preemptively broke the door when they figured out it was going to be a hard commitment toward A at the beginning of the round. And then because of that, they were able to keep control of tree and out towards mid too. Excellent adaptation there from WGA. One more gun round. This is the last gun round of the half unless CalPoly win it.
Well, in CalPoly, Ryad gonna have to run that Sheriff. He's the utility. He has to spend the money there, so can't fully invest in the rifle. They're gonna go ahead and let the drone go with that RI. Clear isn't gonna find anything.
Right here.
So no information for CalPoly on what's on A. But I like the fact that this time they're leaving members here in mid, just in case that rotation comes through the back, and if they need to kind of evacuate and go to B, they have somebody covering that angle. Make sure it can happen, but it doesn't look like that's what they want to do. Spicy gonna go ahead and hit the door, and the dinner bell is gonna get rung. Too aggressively, able to find 1, but not 2. P-Man there to get the trade. As Chris is gonna get the information for WGA. P-Man finding Party Kid now in a 3v3, but a hurt Killjoy sitting there for WGA. P-Man gonna have to be very careful in these encounters. Just sneeze, just a couple of bullets. Oh! Warmest aloha means hello and goodbye. And that's gonna grab both of those pretty quickly, and CPP able to find 1. They're 1 step closer to getting that 8-4 score line that we said was pretty crucial coming out of this.
Warmest aloha. What an absolutely dominant flank. And it's just because CalPoly have pretty much the same execute as they normally do, right? But the difference is they waited this time around. They didn't immediately send it. The rotates didn't immediately pull through the middle of the map. So Warmest Aloha was able to sneak in under the radar there for such a critical flank. CalPoly, you're heading toward the other side of the map. Ryad's pretty far, which leaves me to believe that this is more likely going to be slower, but it could just be a fake for that bit of utility. Already 1 pick. Either way, that's not a bad time to send it if you're going for a contact play, but CalPoly a little bit slower than that.
And you get a little bit of information from that first opening kill for WG. That's why you see the Omen quickly rotating, making sure that they're still equally stacked on both sides. Defense is strong for WGA, but CalPoly remembers now sneaking their way onto site as Chris holds the recon dart for the perfect opportunity. Spicy into the back, looking for the perfect shot, is able to find it. Takes a couple to get it, but you know what? It lands and immediately turns that fire onto Benny. Go check out the back of site. Party Kid there to help with the kill, and only one member left for WGA. P-Man.
Spike planted.
Gonna have a difficult job ahead of you, but you know what? It's final round, so pedal to the metal. Let's see how many of these picks P-Man can get. Oh, they don't know the lurks there.
Yeah, this ain't gonna go too well for P-Man.
Oh no!
Oh no! Don't do it to him! No! Amazing. Almost Aloha. Once again, I mean that's just a more
Switching sides.
version of what he did in the previous round, right? And what CalPoly actually did in the last 2 to 3 rounds, we'll say. They realized, unfortunately, pretty late into the half, so they weren't able to take huge advantage of it. But that WGA, there were often cracks and holes in their defensive line, right? That they would rotate around and leave big pockets that CalPoly could just sneak through. It happened on B. It happened mid. It happened mid the prior round, too. So, a little bit of a late adjustment there from CalPoly, but they get 4 to 8. Not terrible for your attacking side of Ascent. Now, we flop things over. Looks like we're with a commitment toward B and straight into a lot of Killjoy utility.
Yeah, P-Man is set up. Not P-Man, that's Disco. Disco is set up here on the site, turret over the top of the boxes, but the members of WGA still able to sneak one onto the site. Shawnee T gonna be there, knows that they're just around the wall. Disco's gonna go down. Ryad finds the kill, and Spike now gonna be in contention, but a lot of members going into the back site gonna make things difficult. CVP able to find themselves into an even fight. 3v3. WGA looking for the plant, but Spike goes down yet again. Party Kid
Enemy remaining.
into the back, up into the air. Enough of a distraction. CalPoly are going to be able to keep this in their pocket, and we saw how strong their defense was on Bind. You talked about how, you know, this can be one of the more defensively favored maps of Valorant overall, and I feel like the path to winning here is controlling economy. If you're able to keep WGA from securing kills and getting plants, you're going to have a really good time here on the defense.
Yeah, absolutely. And it was great presence of map 2 in that late round. They realized that Spike hadn't been planted, so they just ran onto site and killed everybody there. Good work from CalPoly. Still have to lock this round down. It is the anti-eco, so they have guns. WGA doesn't. Tale as old as Valorant at this point, realistically. This Ketchup Spicy in a very dangerous position, though. Needs to trade probably 1 for 3. Otherwise, gonna die, drop the gun, and things suddenly become more difficult for CalPoly.
Oh, and there for that reason, and that reason exactly. Working off the back of the initial kill, able to swing from an unsuspecting angle. Spicy!
This Ketchup Spicy
What?
goes out. The paranoia hits him. He runs out of bullets and says, "You know what? Fine. We'll take a fair fight. You only have pistols. I'll bring out the pistol. We'll see how it goes then." Still absolutely dominates. And that's an incredibly inexpensive round there for CalPoly too. They're going to bonus round very comfortably here. So you were talking about the economic control that is so important. CalPoly, all they really need to do is damage the economy of WGA, who are working off dimes and nickels right now.
A difficult economic situation for CalPoly coming in, or sorry, for WGA coming in, and they're definitely gonna need the information they've gathered. But look at the bomb; it's still relatively neutral, it being left on the ground, so you can contest without the fear of dropping the bomb in a bad location. But it's sitting over on B, tells us that they're probably gonna be favoring that site, unless the information tells them otherwise. However, they've gotten to know there's a few on A. They find an opening pick. The rotation likely called for CalPoly now. Is WGA going to move that bomb a little bit more towards mid, but a slow round. Because every round's important at this point. You're down on rounds. You need to at least even up that scoreboard before you can start getting gutsy, if you will.
I mean, in this round, a 1-for-1 is not the worst thing. That's not ideal for Warmest Aloha, as he doesn't trade out. And now this Ketchup Spicy is convinced that it's coming toward A. It most likely is. Slowly, rather than explosively, though. And that does give time for a couple of reinforcements to come over. Could definitely get bloody if WGA don't clear this site properly.
Oh,
Oh, they don't
They're
know.
gonna go into hell, but it's not in the perfect position, so it's gonna allow for Spicy to get a little bit of extra position. Walks through at 7 health now. Able to find the kill, the heal comes through. Back into the game for Ketchup Spicy, 2v2, 2v3, 1v3. As the kills come through for WGA, CalPoly not able to put another defensive round on the board. That's 9 up, 3 to go for WGA.
CalPoly will actually buy guns now, though, but this is going to be a pivotal round. WGA can take control of the map and give us a good chance to head on to a third and final map of Split, should they come out ahead right here. Op, picked up for Party Kid, looking like it's going to play for that mid control. Decently heavy lean towards this B side of the map, too. CalPoly might luck out here. Okay, the Op's actually headed over toward A, so not ideal, and here comes the send.
And look at the quick rotation from CalPoly right now. Immediate information that they see 4 members of WGA on B and call for the entire team to join them. Here on the side, pushing through the smoke, able to find a kill, but Party Kid gonna get traded out. And the 3v3 now sits before them. WGA trying to work their way on the side, but losing members in the process. 1 goes down, 2 goes down, 1 only left there on the point, Ryad. Keeping keen eye on the angles, looking for the shot, but not able to find it. 1v1 now ensues, and Baj has the information on where Disco is. Ball goes over to the back of site to give a little bit of extra cover so they can focus on the angle, but Baj gonna have to be really sneaky with how they play this. The wall goes down, and wanted to use the wall for the extra rotation, but doesn't need it, finds the shots. WGA are gonna put it 10-6.
Great mind game from Baj. The plant was very obviously fake, so Disco doesn't swing that, but Baj uses that blaze wall to bait, like, at any point, Baj could just run out and go over. Disco, knowing the timing on that blaze wall, hoping to catch Baj on that rotation, but Baj better on the day. Excellent late round. WGA now sitting at double digits, and there is no money left for CalPoly. We've already seen them pull off one thrifty, admittedly on their attacking half. The Bucky's not going to be quite as strong, so mostly sheriffs here. Got to be hitting those headshots.
You want to see a visible Bucky nerf? There it is, ladies and gentlemen. Spread heavily reduced on both the long range and short range firing modes. But, you know, one member already down for CalPoly WGA, comfortably having mid control now, and on a map like this, giving up mid control can be a death sentence to allow those lurks to get into your back line.
Beautiful. Great rotation there from Baj. Comes over as P-Man just plays that slow. Not risking anything. Oh, poor Warmest Aloha. Warmest Aloha, but a cold kill there coming out from Shawnee T, and not much to work with for Here Comes Disco. I mean, WGA completely owning the entirety of the map there. But unsurprising, CalPoly now on their own map pick. 5 rounds down, 1 more loss. I mean, if you lose this gun round, the game is basically over. We almost assuredly go to split, because then it'll be match point, and CalPoly won't have much money. They'll have to desperately force, and it's not going to be a good look. 4 ultimates available for CalPoly. They can't pull this round right here off.
Yeah.
Not liking their odds, title.
Looking for big plays from Spicy Ketchup. Has been a little bit tamed, more of like a mild Ketchup this go around. So definitely looking to up that Skullville rating a little bit. But Shawnee T already into a good position. Here on point for WGA, gonna keep the smokes alive. They're on market, able to find the opening kill is Spicy. Now WGA down a member, but Shawnee T in a decent position. Ketchup able to work by just a little bit, but the chase is on. The kill comes through from Spicy. Oh, Party Kid actually, sorry. Saving Spicy at the very last minute.
That perspective from Shawnee T was just tragic, man. Heard this Ketchup Spicy at the door, smoked him off, went around, oops, looked away at just the wrong time. Ketchup got one and then dismissed out. I'm gonna updraft up over, but meanwhile, Ketchup is using the smoke to drop down into logs, blow away the entirety of WGA, and then desperately to reclaim some confidence. Shawnee T charges him and gets shut down by Party Kid. This round's going much better for WGA, though. Spike's gonna be dropped. Party Kid, don't overcommit to this, though.
The entire team there is in a firing line to make sure that Shawnee T pays. or Party Kid base there. And it's back down to a 3v3. The comfortable engagement. Warmer still able to find two knows the third is here. Able to find that as well. And a big defensive play from CPP. Economy back in your favor, and suddenly you're back in the game.
And these last 2 rounds are the sort of aggressive plays that I love to see from CalPoly, right? We were missing those a little bit on their attacking side for the majority of it. But when they had success on Bind, it was when they were challenging WGA constantly, not letting them get away with things, playing with them, messing with their minds, taking weird swings and angles. Love the last 2 rounds from CPP. They are poised to still make this a very competitive map.
Bit of an eco round here. WGA not having a lot to contend with, so they're gonna work for the ult orbs, try and secure those as best as possible, get some ultimates online. Play slow and hope that CalPoly commits somewhere that they shouldn't, makes a mistake, so that they can capitalize and gain a little bit of momentum, maybe pick themselves up a weapon.
Swarm grenade. Swarm grenade out.
Oop.
Oh.
Variable
Ouch.
Good kill from Disco. Almost leads to another, but decides to put the turret out now. Is that Party Kid from behind?
Oh, yeah, it is. This is. I mean, WGA don't have much of a chance anymore. That was just good work from Disco to stall out to. I mean, a little bit unlucky there from Baj. Caught with the util out. Very possibly could have won that gunfight, considering Disco was only at 50 health, and I believe Baj had the sheriff. So a little unlucky there. Round could have gone very differently, but Disco with the good timing. And now is only 2 rounds that separate these 2 teams. Even when, in theory, CalPoly lose another round, they'll have enough to buy up, regardless of how things go. They have gotten themselves a nice bit of leeway. But keep in mind, WGA still only need 2 more. Not great ults to make it work, at least at the start here. That can very quickly change for WGA. Oops. I don't think that was the intended smoke, but it's okay. Nobody's in Cat anyways.
I think that was supposed to go over to yeah, I thought it was supposed to go over to Cat. And Trees. Information now coming out for CalPoly. They know they've got some members here on Catwalk. Doesn't look like anybody's making... Oh, well. Disco's a little nervous about B right now. Not completely ready to give up the contention over there, but now trades come through. 3 to 4. CalPoly down a man on this defense. A lot of utility being sent into trees to make sure that Ryad can't make anything out of this. Alarm bot's gonna go down just in case they decide to push out.
Spike planted.
And I mean, this is a very difficult retake here for CalPoly.
Oh, no, they know that one's hell, but it's, it's a shooting gallery a bit, trying to shoot this fish in a barrel, but Shawnee T is going to be okay. To be able to go out 3v4 still. CalPoly being very careful about how they peek and what they decide to give away for free. It's going to be nothing. Riot finding the kill.
1 enemy remaining.
Oh! And that's an unfortunate situation. Now it's a 1v2. Doesn't exactly know where both members are, but now as that wall goes down and the shock dart comes through, they know exactly where the members of WGA are sitting. The time just isn't in their favor. They've got the 6th man on the field for WGA, that timer on the defuse.
Oh.
Match point.
Okay. Credit to where it's due to CalPoly. I think given what they had available, they played that retake as well as they could have. Great utility to flush out some of the members of WGA, but WGA had gotten those picks in mid and A main, so they were beautifully set up. It was always going to be difficult for CalPoly. Now they're
Don't
going for a little bit of a Hail Mary here. They got double Odin. Straight in B main. Only gonna fire 1 though.
Wait, no, it's a swap out. 1 goes, and then on the reload, the 2nd begins shooting.
That is no. Okay, they've left that position.
Oh man!
Only 1 Odin has been exposed. Auditorially. Auditorially. Either way, one was Loha. Nice pick there. Can smoke this off too and keep solid control of mid. Goes for the deeper smoke. That's a little risky, but with this catch-up spicy covering the angle, it hardly even matters. CalPoly, great start to this round, and they know, hey, hey, one place we don't have control over? A main. Unfortunately, Riot not going to win that fight. But things still looking very good for our defending team.
Oh, that door not going to be usable. Going to be taken down completely.
One enemy.
Push through the molly.
Oh my
and
word.
Spicy! Gonna pay off. Isn't gonna find the second kill, but showing off a little bit here towards the end. WGA with only one member. There's not really much that can happen here.
No.
Baj's gonna go for the run it back, but gets detained! Oh no! Unfortunate, the Odin kill happens.
Amazing.
Oh.
That was so good there from people expect you can expect someone to push a smoke. You can expect someone to push a blind, but you never, ever, ever expect someone to push through a molly, dude. The hot hands goes down door, and immediately WGA are like, okay, cool, we don't have to worry about that. This Ketchup Spicy says, you bet? You bet? Yeah, the floor may be spicy, but I'm more so. Runs through and keeps it alive. Keep in mind, WGA, on the round prior where they won, lost all their guns. So they're already broke again. CalPoly could still finish this off in a 2-0 set.
They're gonna keep this Odin trick up. They're gonna get found out, however, that there is a couple of members here on B. CalPoly already losing a member, but it's okay, it's a trade. WGA also down one. However, ult economy for WGA right now pretty stacked. Oh, Disco got revealed, taking shots just in case, and for CalPoly, you're feeling pretty good. You got a player over there into Wine Cellar, and with this bomb rotating over to A, it might be an unfortunate situation if they let Baj past. They can get a lot out of it. Baj now, however, going to be able to
Picking
get
up
the
a
weapon.
gun is silent. Trading one out makes noise, but just picking it up, completely silent. So free gun there for Baj. Has an idea, too, that someone was in Wine, but not enough of an idea, as Ryad will finish that off.
And that's going to make it a little bit more difficult for WGA. You wanted to have that A rotation in your favor. Now you're down to two members. You're stuck in mid, and all the members of CalPoly are
30
spread
seconds left.
decently across the map that you don't get any free angles past getting into
One
trains.
enemy remaining.
Shawnee team, not a bad start, but, I mean,
Yeah.
this would be an epic clutch here if Shawnee T could pull this off.
Up against two Odins there. Isn't able to find the headshot. Needs to find one more, but there's a lot of bullets sitting up on Heaven. CalPoly are gonna be able to put themselves to 11. I got an itch. We might see some overtime.
One more round determines all of its title. Thus far, CalPoly on this defensive side, just like on their defensive side of Bind, have been another kind of animal, right? And the way they're able to switch it up to mess with the pace, throw weird wrenches. That's what I love about CalPoly. They keep it weird, man. Like on map 1, it was crazy teleports through the middle of the map, insane pushes, solo for amazing kills. Map 2, you get like double Odin and just absurd control over B main. This double Odin set up. WGA are about to walk
Lord.
into it.
This is like my dream setup. Do you see the fact that they've got extra weapons just sitting there in case the Odin isn't able to find anything, which it doesn't. That's okay. There's weapons to swap for if needed. The Hunter's Fury goes over onto B, able to find one onto Baj. So the trade effectively going to be coming through as the rotations are not there. Aloha a little bit too focused on what might be coming out towards attacker spawn. Isn't looking towards mid. Chris able to find a kill as well. So now CPP very low on members.
Spike planted.
Spicy does still have this Empress available. Knows that a lot of members are there in the back. First kill comes through. Able to find the heal, but not the kill to follow. So Ryat gonna have to take everybody out here. Has to get out of the Killjoy. Doesn't have the ultimate ready. Still only one shock dart. Recon dart not gonna find any information. So it doesn't know that all the members of WGA are sitting here on site committing. Doesn't matter if they survive and the bomb explodes, as they're going to win the match if that happens. First kill comes through, but the trades are there, and a clever strategy from WGA to make sure that as long as you trade out, that bomb is going to explode.
Comeback denied by WGA. A cheap little setup there from CalPoly with that double Odin. We're doing it for a few rounds. So eventually WGA got to read the spam through the wall. Gets somewhat difficult, right? So It was hard for Here Comes Disco to actually secure that spam for enough of that damage, with Party Kid getting caught with that paranoia, staying on that angle just a little bit too long, trying to find the timing on that blind op shot, and then he just gets punished. It falls apart from there with Shawnee T finding some beautiful creeping up through smoke and great presence of the map. WGA, it was close, but they send us to a third and final map of Split.
Yeah, and I said it. That first map, it was extremely dominant for CalPoly, but WGA not out of this just yet. We still have one more map, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to be going to Split here in a second, where we're going to see that WGA attack once again here in just a minute. But Paulsville, before we go over to that break and let everybody go get their popcorn and sodas, what changed here? What happened for WGA that put them back into the fight?
Part of it was confidence, but another part was how WGA were able to more consistently control the map, right? We talked about bind, and outside of use of those teleporters, which can be very risky, especially as a defender, there wasn't as easy of an opportunity for WGA to really punish the way that CalPoly were setting up on these maps. We saw here, WGA were constantly setting up to trade each other out effectively. They were using the information they got to collapse portions of the map and really steal those away from CalPoly. I loved that from them. CalPoly definitely still making it look close. It is a narrow difference for CalPoly, but a huge one for how WGA really come back into this set. And now we go to Split. In theory, you can do similar things there, but it is a much more narrow, enclosed map as well. I think this is going to be a banger.
It definitely is, and we'll see if WGA is going to keep up that map control as we go to Split, which is another map that has that very important middle area that you need to control. So don't go anywhere, ladies and gentlemen. The action is just getting started here at CF1. And we're back, ladies and gentlemen, with a match that started a little bit one-handed, but has begun to be a bit of a brawl. WGA and CalPoly Pomona fighting it off here in our last match of the split. Not only our last match, but they're going to take us all the way, Pauls. Well, we're going to a third map here, on to split, where CalPoly is going to have to start things off with a bang on their defense.
Yeah, this series rather has just been a crazy title because, I was a little bit worried. Map 1, that WGA might not even have been, trying. This is one of the teams in this region. We know how good they can be, right? Yet it was a 13-2. CalPoly were just running them down and just beating the ever-loving crap out of them. But, I mean, map 2, whatever switch got flipped, turned on some bright dang lights. WGA Valorant looked like a phenomenal team, not only in those individual plays, those more isolated gunfights, but the way they played around the map, the way they were actually able to set up on their own, but also with each other, really wrestle more so with CalPoly to make that a competitive 13-11. Now we go to split.
And, I think this is a bit of a story of that momentum game. The WGA, just everything they tried on that first map, it wasn't connecting. And CalPoly just really felt like, they didn't feel like, they had a very strong hold on their defense. They knew exactly where they wanted their rotations to go. They were careful about engagements at the beginning and allowing for retakes at the end, which they were extremely strong at. And that showed true onto Ascent. It just happened to be that WGA on Ascent, on their initial out the gate go, was extremely strong in their own right. So I think that going into Bind, where Split, where it kind of combines Bind and Ascent in a little bit, where you get those close quarters combat that you like, but you still have to contend for mid. However, in some arguments, you can forget about mid, but please don't forget about mid. I need that on a bumper sticker.
Well, and the tricky thing now is, we've been talking a little bit about how Bind and Ascent can favor the defending side quite frequently. And, I mean, what? Like a total of 10 rounds over, 40 rounds that have been won on the attacking side this series? That's like quick caster math. I could be a little bit wrong on that. But either way, defensive sides have seen way larger win rate than attacker sides here. So, as we move on to split, the most defender-sided map in Valorant for the longest period of time, a map that isn't played as commonly as the other two either, right? Pretty much in any series, you expect to go to Haven, you expect to go to Bind, you expect to go to Ascent, but you don't necessarily expect to go to Split. A lot of teams aren't prepped here nearly as well, but to do well on Split, you have to have a decent attacking half with coordination. So this is just like a wild card to throw in at the end of this very series in particular.
And I like the fact that you're doing that. When Icebox first got put into the map pool, everyone was like, "Oh my god, I hate this map. There's so many sight lines. It's difficult to hold the site. It's a horrible attacking map. It's very defensively strong. But then at the same time, if the attackers know the map well enough, it suddenly becomes a bit of a flip of the coin." And nobody wanted to pick it. And I was always the one advocating, practice your strats on that map, get it into your bank, and then when you get the chance, throw it into rotation as the wild card and take the team to somewhere where they might not be as confident or as practiced. And I think with CalPoly, you're swinging up as far as the leaderboard goes. And every element that you can bring to the table here helps you. And the surprise factor, or the factor of, we practice this map, and hopefully WGA doesn't, could play big. However,
the thing is,
WGA needs good prep, and they're fine.
Well, and based on the pick, I'm not certain that CalPoly do practice this map, because Haven was banned by WGA. We're already out on to Split here. Oh, that's more than this Spicy Ketchup was bargaining for. There were 2 players there, and Baj, a nice trade to start too, gets nice control of B main. This is going to be a quick send toward B, wall there, shuts off any reinforcements, and here we go.
Then able to find the opening pick on Naraya, but a quick trade comes through from Party Kid. The satchel over the wall is going to find Chris out. Baj able to quickly recover, however, for WGA here on the attack. Having control for CalPoly, but all of the members of WGA are on point except for one who's already going for the lurk and trying to work their way around into heaven, so the retake isn't solidified. One member for CalPoly up against 3 here for WGA. Not necessarily unsurmountable, but a very difficult task ahead, as they're not aware of the rotation coming through heaven. Party Kid, however, already out of the sight lines, wins the duel.
No way.
And now it's into the 1v1. I said it wasn't unsurmountable, but it was going to be difficult. Vaj able to find the kill.
Hush with just 20 health, by the way, too. So you ran that corner with not the paint shell out, and that is quickly a winnable round. Party Kid's still doing phenomenal, don't get me wrong. 4 kills of the round. I'm not faulting them at all, but WJ off to a good start. And when you win the attack on pistol, that's the sort of attacking-sided momentum you really want to see. If you're a WGA fan, too, right? Because unless something goes terribly wrong here, WGA are probably going to win this. Then, to get a decent, really good attacking half on split, all you have to do is put 2 more rounds on the board out of 10, right? You don't have to be shooting par even whatsoever. Oh. No! Okay. Well, remember how I said something terrible going on? That's very nearly it.
Very nearly it indeed, and now you're kind of getting stuffed into this B position. Your whole team's here because it's only 3 of you left. And the dinner bell definitely sounding off for CalPoly. They're getting pretty aggressive here on the attack. The defense. The Bucky gonna get dropped for Party Kid, so spends a little bit of extra money to have some hitting power, but isn't able to use it.
And I love that from Shawnee T, because you know that if you beta rotate like that, the defenders are going to try up and push up and steal those guns away because they were just working on pistols. Bucky has been recovered. It's not as strong as it used to be, though. And here comes Disco, going to find that out the hard way.
Yeah, you see that Bucky drop and you're going, okay, well, they might want to come back for this. Save it for a bonus if they can squeak this out, so let's make sure to punish them if they do so. And it works out. 2 members left for CalPoly. Aggressively holding the corner with a classic and a shorty. Shawnee T now into the engagement. Shorty's able to find the shots, but a quick swing comes through from Chris, and they're able to find their counterpart out, and I believe get the plant just in time.
Nice little bit of money there, and WGA are doing just fine. They do lose 3 members on that anti-eco, so they're not going to have as comfortable of a bonus round. They are less likely, of course, to do damage to the economy, but Shawnee T also has the Bladestorm available, right? I mean, that's basically a gun in and of itself, so CalPoly definitely cannot rest on their laurels for what is their first and what is a very important gun round, because on your defense, if you are on split and you don't win this first gun round after losing the pistol, you lose all control of your defensive side in general.
And look at these rotations from CalPoly. We hear a good amount of resources getting used and decide on the full send. Send everybody over the site, get them on point, get these trades so our retake is a little bit more well-equipped. The gun's gonna go over to Sean, and a beautiful job throwing guns down for the team, being a good player, able to find the kill through the smoke and look for the second, finds it as well. And geez, not only the MVP, but teammate of the year coming through. Now it's up to Warmest Aloha on the solo retake, finds the bun. Isn't able to hit the shots. Smoke comes through, gonna have to back off and looks at the angles just in case they're getting aggressive here. And best case scenario for CalPoly, a couple of exit frags and a defuse. Worst case, you get taken out. So able to find the initial kill. Camera goes down to no information for WGA. Doesn't look like they want to get too aggressive. However, Aloha just looking to see if anybody's gonna back out of sight. So for WGA, it's either push into the Phantom or blow up to your own devices.
At least Warmest Aloha keeps WGA on the site long enough, but that is still more or less worst case scenario for CalPoly. They lost their first gun round on the defensive side. They lost it in a manner that lost them 4 out of 5 of their guns, so they are not going to be anywhere near a bye. Now we're looking at WGA starting off probably with a 4-0, right? These sends on either side of the map have been absolutely beautiful. Outside of the pistol round, WGA are just ignoring mid entirely, and they're just overwhelming these sites. Keep in mind, there's not a Killjoy or a Cypher this time for CalPoly to really slow that momentum. So unless they run into like a Raze grenade, WGA, they can just hold W pretty much.
Oh, not too
stoppers.
much, however. Aloha's there.
Ooh.
Find
Down
3.
A.
2 more kills, gets them the ace. The swing comes through from
One
the sage to
enemy
look for the
remaining.
kill, able to find it.
No
Ryat,
way.
making it much, much easier. And off the back of Warmest Aloha, CalPoly gonna put themselves into a winning position here on B. The aggressive hunt comes through. There is a Cypher Trap just in case if Chris wants to get super creative and stay here. But looks like hiding behind that box might have worked. Oh my god. CalPoly's gonna make the full rotation.
I mean, it hardly matters here for WGA. This has been a great little swing back. Gotta give credit to Warmest Aloha. That paranoia, that holding the line there up on ramp changed the entire course of this map. Yeah, 4K in the round. Excellent work from Warmest Aloha on this Omen. That's the kind of pace stopping play we need to see, or we needed rather to see from CalPoly. Now they're in a little bit more of a comfortable spot. Still down rounds on their defense, right? So not able to just sit back and enjoy by any means, but because of how few players they walked away with in those first 3 rounds, they're already down to a broken economy, and CalPoly can look to come back and make this a solid defensive half.
And Disco's been a little bit silenced here in this defensive round for CalPoly, but I really do expect when we get to those attacking rounds that we're going to see that breach get a little bit more time in the spotlight, if you will. It's a very quiet push.
And I mean, you know,
WGA.
Disco's been either dead or walking to the site when most of their team is dead, right? So let's not bully the breach too much. It is quite the role swap for Disco, who has been playing solely the Killjoy up until this point. But a Rolling Thunder available too. I mean, you're looking just fine.
Yeah, the retake position for CalPoly doing okay. You see Party Kid still not finding any information. It looks like the call from CalPoly has been to go ahead and move on over to B, but a quick and aggressive push from Shawnee T will get punished, and the call goes out to bring a little bit more support back over to A site. Paint shells into the back. Very carefully. Going to be able to work out that teleport to get out of the situation, but stays on the sideline to find the kills. Looks fun, but the reload comes through, and Chris able to find the kill. Once again, the last remaining member of
30 seconds
WGA. As CalPoly begins to get a little bit of momentum on the defense and puts themselves back into contention.
A little bit odd there from WGA. I think Shawnee T overplays the dash. Obviously, it's just an eco round, so it's not the worst thing in the world. But they were very clearly aware of where Warmest Aloha would be playing, so I'm surprised they didn't try to get more space closer up till ramp and use Shawnee T to trade that 1v1. When that dash went out, there was nobody who was ever going to be able to cheat out Shawnee T. He was just looking for like a straight up fight. Yeah, that, like, if one other member is up there, like near that ramp, Warmest Aloha's dead and you take a gun away. But all water under the bridge now. Pivotal gun round here. It's round 6. Ults available for both sides. Tons of ults, in fact. This round, this half swings on this round.
Yeah, this is a big round right now for CalPoly. If you even these scales, you put yourself into a really good position, and I like the fact that Disco doing a good job of using a single ability there on B to deter the aggressive push from WGA and allow for the swing to check into that garage. And the plays that we've seen so far here on A, obviously slowing the pace of WGA, giving them a little bit of a confidence issue about where they want to push and how confident they can do so. So they're going to go for mid, which they haven't done a lot so far, but it's not working out to their advantage just yet. They're going to get hit by a cork. There's an easy trade, 1v1. As they check into ropes, looking in a mailbox now, they know there's a single member there. Chris able to find the 1v1, but still undecided about which site they want to commit to. Oh, but
Much better work there
5v3,
from
you get the res.
Left.
Yeah, they can pivot onto this site comfortably. Disco's not going to be able to ult. Just caught here entirely. Trades it 1-for-1, but CalPoly needed more than that. They're not playing with much on this retake at all. Steidl, I mean, heaven control, main control, all of it goes over to WGA.
Oh,
The wall keep out too. You kind of just have to funnel yourselves through heaven here, and when you do, you're going to get pinched. It's just really difficult for CPP right now.
Teleport.
Player
Gets the
standing.
distraction in, heaven goes, the trade comes through. However, Chris still able to find those shots, and Aloha gonna be left alone 2v4, and WGA take the swing around, and now momentum heavily in their favor going into this next matchup. If CalPoly aren't able to land this defense economically, they're gonna be in a big hit.
Yeah, I mean, already WGA are feeling great about this attacking half. They've already gotten 4. They've got plenty of rounds to put a 5th on the board. And if you get 5 attacking rounds on split, you're feeling golden, right? Still a gun round for CalPoly, so they're definitely not out of this on their defensive half. And they didn't really use anything to make that previous round loss happen, right? So they are nearly at 5 ultimates here. All we really need to see is them surviving to a scenario wherein they can be useful, which was a struggle last round.
WGA really making this
amazing.
This wall a bit of a moot point in mid, but the flash comes through. The trades, however, in favor of Baj. Able to find that disco one more time, and we're not going to be seeing any sparkly lights or big ultimates coming out from CalPoly anymore.
There we go.
Showstopper there. Oh no! The show does not have to go on. Ryan says the curtain's time to fall. Able to find 2 there and push CalPoly into a favorable position. And they know they're there. P-Man able to find the kill, but the rotations now have come through for CalPoly onto the point. WGA still not in a position where they're comfortable with planting. P-Man gonna have to commit the camera to get a little bit of information about who might be coming from heaven, but doesn't find anything, as both members of CalPoly already on site. Party not able to find that satchel charge kill. It's all up to War Mr. Aloha in a 1v2. Here's the plant going down and decides, let's go ahead and throw some shadows out and make him think I'm coming from garage. Finds the camera. Perfect positioning of the smoke to silence that camera. Gets the kill as well. Full health. WGA, however, full health member of their own. The shots don't land, and P-Man able to win it out just a little bit there. WGA putting into the full extent of their team, but still able to squeak it out.
CalPoly, some of the tricks that were working for them earlier in this series, some of the aggressive habits they had, are now biting them. Not only the gambling with the satchel charge at the very end from Party Kid, where he didn't have any information on the site, and 2 people are ready to just blow him away, but also the ambitious play through B main. It nearly worked out perfectly. 1 bullet goes a pixel to the left, and this catch-up Spicy picks up 2, but instead both players die. They lose complete control. Now they're just sending it now, and it actually gets off to a pretty good start. There's some good aggression.
And a necessary play. I mean, 2 of their members starting this round off with pistols. So you get aggressive, you get a couple of kills, and now you got a whole team with guns, and you didn't even spend all that shmoney. WGA, however, into dire straits. P-Man finds 2 and puts it back into contention. Suddenly, this round is winnable once again for WGA. The question is the rotation.
P-Man has to wait so long, though, because his buddy is all the way over in B heaven. Camera is still available, and another nice pick. That's 3 for P-Man right there. And here comes the flank from Baj.
Obviously not for
patience. Are expecting it, though.
Last player standing.
Able to find it, 2v1 now, as P-Man begins to make their entry. Here's the flash go out and knows that the utility is low. Neuronet will give away the information of the opponents, but utility not completely spent. Oh, Disco playing with their food here a little bit. Doesn't find the shots, it seems. Into the Cypher cage we go, just in case, and an aggressive defense here needs to be able to find the kills. Looking for the bomb. Oh, can they squeak it? They're gonna try. Oh, able to find it! Oh, just out of the smoke, tries to run away, isn't able to do so, and gets taken down by Disco.
Great aggressive play there from CalPoly at the beginning of the round. I mean, P-Man tried to bring it back, but this showstopper is unstoppable. And it was worth noting that while the buy wasn't perfect from CalPoly, they had enough to where they could get guns on a lot of their players. So they gamble for the fact that WGA is there. It comes up perfect for them as they get picks, guns, spike down, everything they possibly could have wanted. But they still have a ways to go. WGA still have 5 rounds on the attacking half. CalPoly need pretty much every round from here on out.
Oh, and looks like WGA wants to return that aggression in kind. Johnny getting a little bit of damage with the knives, able to close it out with the classic, get the Phantom, find a couple of kills, and now, with your CalPoly, this is a very difficult situation. You have ultimates, you have a res, you can recover from this, but you cannot lose a single member. From here on out, you have to be able to keep your numbers up. So they're gonna bring Spicy back in, and you know what? If I'm gonna choose one member of CalPoly to bring back into the fight, Spicy is definitely one of those members. Not going to be checking the attacking spawn. However, they are going to be losing Disco. They're on that long. It's all up to Spicy. Spicy not able to find it, and WGA with aggression put another point on the board.
I'm going to say it again. I've said it already once this series. I will say it again. The classic right click is so dumb. It's the dumbest thing in the game right now. Look at this. Complete whiff on the actual
he
right
hits a
click
couple
for the Blade Storm. But then
a couple.
he whiffs the important one, though, Steitel. The one you need to hit as a jet main. And then he was using utilities. So guess what? Because I have this shotgun as a pistol for free, guess what I can do? I mean, excellent work here, WGA in general. They're going to try hard sending it the other way now. Maybe not so much of a hard send now that they... No. What? Things going pretty decently for him. Oh boy.
The trade's still landing, however, for WGA. The presence for CalPoly was definitely there. The shots, however, not landing. The res still online. So for WGA, you don't lose anything coming into the point, and you gain pretty much everything there is to gain. Positioning, information. You get the spike down, and you win the round.
And now, I mean, of course it would be split, right? That WGA actually show up on their attacking app. They're showing strong, too. I mean... you know, when we biggest problems WGA were having were they were just constantly losing 1v1s to this catch-up Spicy and Party Kid. Now, complete opposite is going on. WGA, the download on those duels. It is going phenomenally. I mean, Shawnee T just dumpstered this catch-up Spiky over in B main, and then with the rest of his team supporting, there was no way they were ever going to lose that. Already back to the Blade Storm. It worked well once on this map. Why not do it again?
Baj as well committing the showstopper, so a lot of damage over there on B. But this time, CalPoly deciding to forego the aggressive stances and positions, allow WGA to get comfortable, and then try and push for the retake. So they'll be able to work a trade out of it. Baj gets caught using that paint can, gets taken down, but a quick shot from Shawnee T trying to make up for it. Felt like they disappointed you, Possible. Needed to land that shot this time around and was able to do so. Getting back on the point, however, misses every single other shot on the war, Mr. Loha. So you get a bit of a trade. Here comes Disco. Here comes Last Man. Able to find one, able to find two. Here comes the comeback, possibly. Disco has the utility needed. Just be careful about how they approach on the point. Isn't able to do so. And Chris, the one-tap wonder, able to find themselves one more kill and another round for WGA.
Great timing there from Chris at the very end. Man, Shawnee T, you're playing the game properly. I don't want, this is not an admonishment on you, but what is happening right now with you on Jet is making me pull my hair out. How does the right click at range get the headshot, and then the timing just doesn't work out at all for Shawnee T, and, you know, panic, like throwing knives into the wall. Either way, WGA are doing phenomenally this round. These attacking executes have been excellent. This is the kind of thing we wanted to see from them on a map like Split, especially. And they ain't gonna swap it up now. Sent over to B.
Got through mid, which CalPoly has not done an amazing job of defending. Also a bit of a deficit over on Ascent as well, but carrying through. WGA finds one. There's two with the one-way smoke from Shawnee. Sees the footsies of Vinny. Able to find the kill. Baj getting aggressive, finds one and a little bit of damage, but the heal comes through for the Reyna, so not too much of an issue. This catch up Spicy. Now with a weapon in their hands, looking for Vinny. Hunting knows they're here, able to find it. Evening the scales a little bit, needs to be careful from Heaven, but you can see tension already there. Headshot, however, more available for Shawnee T than Spicy. There goes the showstopper, but it's stopped! Shawnee T,
show must go on. Shawnee T says. And we will move on to the next half. Excellent work there from WGA. What an amazing attacking half from them, honestly. Those executes were phenomenal, right? Every single time They paced them properly. Even in that last round, the way they got into heaven, the use of the paranoia, and then you just have Party Kid pretty much lurking through B main, able to take away that control as well. Just what a beautiful attacking half from WGA in general. Now they move over to defense. And things are only looking up here for them to pull off that quote-unquote reverse sweep after getting blown away on the first map of Bind. They're going to try a similar story, at least to start. 5 players ready to funnel out B main.
And there's the atypical, or the usual Sage Wall in mid, just to make sure that there can't be extra pressure coming from that heaven area. Spicy able to win out that pistol duel as they move into point. The call has been sent out to WGA, get your booty over here to B, because this is where they're executing to. Spike's gonna go down, the kill comes through from Shawnee, but the swings are there for CalPoly, so they're gonna be able to start off pretty strong here, and you know what? Not unfamiliar territory for CalPoly. Their composition a little bit more set up for the attack.
Well, and for Poly really needed this early momentum because down 3. You know, they need to get off to the same sort of start that WGA had. I mean, it's a long way to go here. Don't get me wrong for it being attacking side split, but one good pistol round does give you some momentum. And WGA, they're not going to force up into this, so presumably CalPoly are able to pull this off, make it 5-9. Then they'll have to play for the rest of the map, obviously.
Oh,
off to a good start here. I mean, there's not going to be anything stopping them from getting on to B now. And, I mean, unless Johnny T hits some nasty headshots and getting flashed, having to dash. Not going to happen this time around. Should be an easy
Call
plant
that the old
and a very
dash
difficult
and
retake.
flash.
Spike planted.
Oh no, walks straight into it. Isn't going to find it. Spicy there to help out with the kills, but not going to be showing up in the kill feed. And CalPoly not only confident here on the attack, but Spike doesn't even need to go down.
Good round from CalPoly. They'll be able to do this comfortably now. But at this point, I mean, a bonus round is nice. Don't get me wrong, but you're really looking to pull off this low economic win to put a big thorn in the side of WGA, right? That's what happened to you on your defense. These B hits have been good so far, and WGA aren't adjusting. They think it's going back over to A now that guns are a possibility. CalPoly, they're not flinching. They're coming right back to B. They've realized that they can take this site comfortably. WGA are already good on these rotates, so nobody, I don't think at least, is going to be hard forcing anything for the moment. I mean, this is not a half bad bait. CalPoly have worked this B pressure in the first 2 rounds into complete control of the map. Look at this right now. WGA have next to no information.
Yeah, the bomb's still lingering at B, but a little bit of presence being shown at A from CalPoly. And you can see how uneasy WGA's become. Very confident about the initial rotation, but they go back to A just in case, find nobody there. So they're going to leave their Cypher to kind of anchor as they go back to B. And then in worries of the slow push, mid-control completely lost for WGA right now. CPP kind of exhibiting that by throwing in these paint shells from Party Kid. Now we're just waiting for the smokes from Aloha.
Shadows traveling.
Oh boy.
Oh,
great check.
Big pick from Spicy.
That is critical.
Able to check just the right corner. And plausible. There's no better way to enter on site, but you lose it so quick. Curious. Able to find that kill on the Spicy. Even things up. And control over to CalPoly, but going anywhere but back to your own spawn is going to be a difficult endeavor, as a lot of members of WGA are holed up here in attacking spawn.
They're just looking to play slow, though. They've got one up in A ramp. They've got enough utility to stall this out in theory. No, here comes the charge. Oh, they're just running him down now. WGA taking a page out of CalPoly's book. And that heaven pressure didn't go anywhere as Baz shuts it down. Great defensive round from WGA. Little bit worried for some of those rotates, but ultimately it was better based off the pace of that specific round for WGA to hard commit to a lot of those rotates rather than under commit because they didn't want to risk losing their B players. They could risk losing A and then playing for the retake later, right? So I liked how they set themselves up. P-Man obviously didn't get what he wanted out of that position in heaven, but it was an information and a great retake from WGA in general.
And for CalPoly, you know, momentum is beginning to waver for you. You really need this round. Your economy, a little bit hurt.
Shadows traveling.
You need to be able to instill a little bit of fear into WGA and get that uncertainty that we saw in the last round back is a factor. Chris's wall, not going to get usable. Gets broken down immediately by CalPoly. Once again, slow and spread attack coming through. Spicy able to take Chris out of the equation, so no res, no heals, no nothing for CalPoly. And you saw WGA back onto the hunt. Shawnee wants to get the aggressive take here. Switches to the pistol and almost gets caught out, but luckily, a knife out for the Sage, so has to switch over. Party Kid still gathering information over here on B that there's nobody here. There goes a couple of utility spent from CalPoly, but not too much. Enough, though, to give WGA the hint that the plant's going down.
Showstopper available to dissuade this retake as well, too. WGA, they're mostly coming through heaven here. When they drop onto the site is where things get risky for them.
Stay down.
Shawnee T able to find the opening pick to even the scales, however, but Ketchup Spicy lurking in a corner just off the Cypher cage, able to find two and puts CalPoly into a very good position to take the round. They keep the Showstopper and are going to be able to have that to contest WGA here in the next round. And now you're getting into the situation where you're putting economies back on track. People are starting to feel a little bit more comfortable with their buys, and you force WGA into a position where they're not so.
Yeah, CalPoly, a little bit of a stumble, but a great post setup there. Hiding behind the box, this Ketchup Spicy with that Empress, not going for anything too off the wall immediately, and then using the one opening he found onto Shawnee T to tear further into the lines of WGA's retake. So great work there. Showstopper just going to carry CalPoly through mid, and there ain't much to stop him.
Oh, so much. You get so much extra information and control from that. Heaven is all CalPoly's. You lose one, but it's okay if the trade comes through. You get a bit of a 1v1. Ryad now on a point with that plant. 4v3. He-Man still able to win out here. Spicy needs to be careful. There's still more members waiting in garage. Here's the shots and gets hit once. For the peak, but Shawnee T moving too quickly. Ryad, however, sussing out that there are still multiple members. The Showstopper comes through, but it misses! Ryad finds the classic shot. The defuse is going down.
Doesn't have it.
Now it's all up to Ryad. Oh, P-Man! Able to squeak it out, and WGA just barely win this round.
Money?
That's the problem with going mid to B and not having B main control. They left Warmest Aloha alone, gets caught with the paranoia out. Great timing there from Chris. And from there, it just falls apart. P-Man wins the 1v1 close distance against Here Comes Disco with the Sheriff, right? Just spamming into his body with that intense pistol. They lose control of Heaven, back sight, main in an instant. Things go completely wrong for CalPoly. They're not working with a full gun round. It's enough to make it hurt, enough to make it happen, Steidl, but only just barely.
Yeah, no patience now for CalPoly. They're gonna rush into sight. One goes down. Shawnee T looking for the second. Able to find it. Trade comes through, but only one member left for CalPoly. No way, he tries this. Over to B he goes. Warmest Aloha. Gonna be able to work the plant out. They're not gonna show him exactly where that omen is, but the teleport might throw a little bit of a kink into the works, but then again, the rotation's so long. Can't be too
Yeah, it
confident
doesn't
about
really
where he's
matter.
staying.
Warmest Aloha is super dead here. 53 health. I mean, here's them all funneling through. If he wins the first, maybe.
Big Paranoia possibly has to be able to work at least one or two out here. There goes the the Sage Wall there. Only finds one. So CalPoly now set to map point. This is going to decide the day, but WGA turned it up on the second map, and they've been able to carry their momentum here into Split.
I'll tell you, we're on the new patch. Got nerfed. Everyone cheers. You know what didn't get nerfed, Steidl? The Judge. It's still a really good shotgun. Turns out, Shawnee T, very aware of that, just holds that close A, blows them away. Everybody's flashed. It's absolute chaos. But when you got a Judge and Paint Shells locking down a close choke point like that, it just becomes easy pickings for WGA. They have such a wide berth now to make this round happen, to secure this match after such a rough start. CalPoly, they're going to throw everything they can here at B. And they can't afford for it not to land.
We're gonna be able to clear that site off in the initial portion here, but need to be careful. Sight from Heaven's still there to the top of their heads over the wall. Spicy with an aggressive push into the defender's spawn is getting punished, being able to find two. The rest of the team now pushing to help grab it, but a big paranoia finds them all. Oh man! What did I just watch, Benny?
Donnie.
Where's that been?
Donnie T, super rude, not letting his teammate get the ace, but a flawless finish for WGA regardless. An excellent recovery in this series. Those were the plays we were hoping to see on Split. Those are the executes that we were missing a lot of the time in the earlier maps. Maps like Bind, maps like Ascent. They were less so, I will say, with things seeming a little bit more on the fly for WGA, but on Split, I mean, now you can just tell why WGA banned Haven at the beginning, right? If we're going to a third map, let's have it be Split. We got that in our back pocket, and it works out beautifully for him.
Can I just point out Chris right now? Triple-double. 14 kills, 11 deaths, and 15 assists on that Sage. I mean, that's a pretty
Solid.
good spread. Yeah. Effective play there, and I once again I want to kind of piggyback on your point for WGA. You start this off with we're gonna be straight here, a pretty abysmal play. The first map, nothing worked. You couldn't find the kills, just weren't there. The executes weren't there. The defensive rotations didn't seem to happen on those 3 attack rounds. You know, granted you didn't get much of a chance, but still you get pretty much stomped into the dirt, and then you rise from said dirt in a pretty effective fashion as well. I think it's a really good momentum change. And it's a strong showing of the team. I like to talk about the mental game a lot and how strong that affects things. And to be able to come back as strong as you did shows that you were able to take that first map, put it in a box, throw it out the window, and really drive forward.
And that's one of the reasons I love that we do best of 3s here at Conference 1, right? You know, it's not best of 1 on the week, because if it was, WGA just straight up lose. But a best of 3 gives you time to adapt. WGA definitely seemed at the very least caught off guard on map number 1 by the insane, chaos that was thrown their way by CalPoly in a lot of those rounds, and the 1v1 checks, but they adapt over the course of the series. You could see onto Ascent, they had made that mental adjustment. They weren't letting them get away with them as much. And then on Split, it was just completely shut down. Beautiful work from WGA. That's it for the match, folks. But we've still got more action tonight in the form of an interview with one of the winning members from WGA Valorant. So make sure you don't go anywhere. We'll be back with that interview in just a sec.
No. Oh.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We've got the one, the only Baj here for the interview. How are you doing after that win?
Great. Happy we won.
Well, I'm glad you're feeling great. I'm glad you won, but I'm going to bring it down to a bit of a rough subject. Map 1. Keep it plain and simple. What happened and what changed going into map 2 that kind of gave you guys that momentum?
I think we always have like a rough first map. I think most of the time it's because we just don't practice enough. But this definitely because I was on like spring break, so I didn't even play last match. Like we had 2 subs out, and then like I didn't have a computer for a whole week, and then we haven't scrimmed since like I don't even know, like maybe like February. So it's just been like a long break because of finals and spring break and stuff because of the quarter system. So I think we just weren't prepared, and we hadn't played together in a while. So it wasn't like I felt like going back and like thinking about it. Like we weren't really like losing the game that hard. Like the score was way worse than it was. Like we would get sight and then we would just throw post plant every single time, and we were just taking one-on-ones that we shouldn't be taking. So just going into the second map, like as like an IGL, I just made sure that everyone like understood like what we were doing wrong and that we needed to play more disciplined going forward. And we just can't give up those 1v1s anymore. And once that gets into the boys' heads, like, you know, we just are unstoppable. I think that bind map, or the ascent map, I think it should have been a little bit like we should have won a little bit more, but the Reyna just kept on lurking through the smokes and getting so many picks. And it was just so stupid. Like, I don't know how we let that happen to us so many times in a row. But yeah, I think we ended up pulling through well. So.
And in your guys' defense, you know, some players will lurk through a smoke. I find it few players lurk through a molly, right?
Yeah.
And just push you guys straight through, you know, a hot hands with like 10 health. So how do you adjust to things like that? Because that was one of the things that was kind of going wrong a lot of the time on Bind as well. You know, the post plants obviously were a big elephant in the room, but Catch Up Spicy was definitely giving you guys a run for money. So how did you guys try and adjust to seeing such a prominent player on the enemy team?
Yeah, I think that one thing that I like to do is like I try to like not let it get in our heads, like just never give them the power of like being like we don't want to be like, oh, this guy is like killing us, like avoid him at all costs or anything. Like everyone is the same player, you know, treat it on the same playing field, because like once you give them that power, then like they're just gonna keep on rolling you because you're gonna be scared. So as just like I tried to just be calling more instead of like letting them handle things, try to make sure that we're staying together. Like one thing that we were doing wrong on Bind was our default just wasn't working, and we just kept on trying to do it. So on Ascent, we started playing more together and just making sure that we always had a buddy with us, so we're not getting picked, and just playing smart, playing back, because if they're going to keep on crunching us, we're going to like pick them off and punish them for that. So just wait for that player to push us and just be confident against them and not be scared. That was what we tried to do.
Nice. Nice. I like that. You play with nameplates off, you play with the scoreboard off, essentially, other than for economy. And, you know, it was only up and onward for you guys, too. You know, you moved on to Split. It looked like a completely different match. You know, looking at map 1 of Bind and then looking at map 3 of Split is... Don't give us too much of the secret sauce here, but is that just a map you guys really like, or was there something going on going into CalPoly specifically that you felt was giving you an edge?
Well, I think that we've always been a team, like at least like UW, even with my past rosters. My ideology is like focus on, like, we need to have a map that we are guaranteed to win on, and that's for us is Split. So for right now, we have Split and Icebox. So whoever's watching this, you can only ban one of those. You know, we always have that guaranteed.
You're my
map.
favorite team. You're my favorite team. Right in there.
All we got to do is just hold on to our Split and Icebox, and that's just our guaranteed pick. I think that we're most confident on those maps, and we just don't lose on Split. And I feel like our attack is just, we really punish them because they were pushing B main, but with our default, it just really holds on to like it really doesn't let them get any picks on us, and we're just not giving anything up. And it ends up just really making it hard for them to hold any sight, definitely because of the Split changes. Like holding a 5-man push on Split is like almost impossible nowadays once you have no util. And if you just pull out the util, like Sage util and Raze util was gone at the start of the round. So, and Reyna just kept on peeking and dying, and it was like, and Breach kept on using all his util at the start of the round. So it was just like all you got to do is just wait it out and win the aim duels, and then you're good.
Love that. Love that kind of confidence. I love the pocket picks there too of Split and Icebox. The two nobody else is going to be practicing. That's the kind of stuff I like to see. And now, other teams in the West region, you've been warned. You better be able to play at least one of those. Give us some map variation. We're bored of Ascent and Bind.
Icebox is the best map. I've been saying that for so long.
Thank you.
It's literally the best map.
Thank you.
What
Valorant best interview right here.
Valorant was made to be played
Best
on
interview.
Icebox. Like, it's just
Yes.
true.
that. Alrighty, awesome. Well, let's talk about going forward now. You know, you guys did honestly phenomenal this season, right? Only ever dropping the one series to the very formidable team, obviously, of SJSU Blue, going
With a
into
different
the
roster,
second
too.
split. Yeah. Whoa. Well, there we go. Well, that kind of answers my question then. I was going to ask, going into the second split, how do you feel about taking them on again? Are you looking to go undefeated? But if you
The thing is, like,
already answered it.
I'm not scared. I think we had a slightly worse roster back then. Not that the other player was bad. It was more just we were kind of forcing people onto roles they didn't want to play, and now we're more comfortable on our roles. So I think once we just get a little bit more practice in, like, that game was pretty close. Like, I think we can beat them. I mean, as much like trash talk as, you know, Troy Boy and Big Word were always throwing out. Like, I love those guys. They're great, you know. But like, I think we just need to go into it not being scared and just be more prepared than this time. Like, we can't be giving up a first map every single time. Because we can't be starting one behind, you know. So that's our mentality. Just has to be set, and we gotta be ready.
I love it. Keep the mental solid. You're not afraid to start players. You're not afraid to start teams. Love that, and it's been absolutely awesome having you here for an interview, man. Before we let you get on out of here for the night, is there anybody you want to shout out on, on the team, at your school, in your life, before we let you go to bed?
Yeah, I like to shout out all my club admins, Treb, Gov, and Omi. They've been putting in work because we're organizing this Red Bull tournament coming up. I don't know if I can say that because it's well, no, I mean, I don't want to. No, it's just a sponsor. I don't know if you guys care if I'm advertising my sponsors, but yeah, they've just been putting in work. You know, they still have school and they're helping out on the Discord with me all the time, sending announcements and stuff. So just shout out to Gov, Treb, and Omi.
Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much, Baj, for giving us this great interview. And please take our congratulations to your team on a wonderful first split.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I'll see you guys soon.
And there you have it. Bob's going to go back to the team and celebrate. Champagne popping tonight, coming out with an 8-2 record and tying up that first place here in the region. But that's going to do it for us here at CF1. Now, we are going to be having matches next week in our split 2. So you better be making sure to follow CF1 on Twitter, get into the Discord, and make sure you've hit that follow button or even the subscribe here on Twitch so that you can make sure to be in that action. Paulsable, are there any words that you had for our viewers before we sign off?
Oh, man, I mean, with a game like that to close out split 1, we say goodbye to a lot of the bottom teams in most of these regions, right? Split 2 is going to be so spicy. You're not going to want to miss a bit of it.
Very true, very true. With that being said, just remember a couple of things as we leave you tonight. Stay safe, don't be toxic, and have yourselves a wonderful evening.
Now which way do we go is the question to ask.